Welcome back to this class. So what I'm going to be teaching in this class is authentication. So the last class, I basically taught relationship, which you are connecting your tags to your user. So in order for everything to make sense, I need to teach authentication. So we are going to try to authenticate the user, that is, register the user or uh, ensure that the user is logged in. Not even ensure that the user is logged in. We just need to create two endpoints, one for register and one for login, so that when the user call that endpoint, you are going to create the user. So now, we would create something called auth. So auth route.js. So if you have been following from the class, so I could say what router from what? Where are we getting it from? Express. Then I could initialize my router, then the router. And I could say router dot what? Let's say post. Then this one will be for register. So let's have this for now. Then we have another post. This one will be for login. So let's have this for now. So we export default what? Router. So we will go into our index.js and use that router. So I could say something like slash auth, then auth. So let's import our auth from import auth router from route slash auth. Yeah, so we have it there. So router. So can you see that? So now I can now call my, so okay, so we've defined the endpoint here. So if I want to make my register, I will do slash auth slash register or slash auth slash login. So now the next thing is to define our controllers. So we'll go into our controller, then we'll define our auth.controller.js. So I can do something like imports, not actually imports, but exports const register user, then request. So we'll get our request and now we'll get our response. So make sure you're always using try cache, then rest dot status 500, then pass in your message. Then what next? Then okay, this message is always server internal server error. Then the next thing is login user request and response. Then you try cache. So can you see that auth controller? So we have this now. So I can now what register user. So I will implement the register user now and the login user. So basically, what do I need to log in to register user? So I need to do what? Get the body. I need to get the body. I'll validate the body. And what? I'll do what again? So I need to hash the password, because it is not advisable to store your plain text. Never store plain text in your database. So never do that. So another thing we need to do, so after you hash your password, then we need to do what? We need to let's just for now we need to generate token actually, but for now we are going to ignore this generate token and just to return the user, return created user. So so how do I do this now? So now I want to, during register, I want to do what? So let's create a new validator and call it auth validator, not even auth, but user validator. The yeah, we could call it auth validator.js. So I could do what? I could say const let's put const register user validator, register body validator. Then I could say something like joy. So we are importing joy from joy.object. then I could get what. So we are validating by what? Email. So I could say Joy should be what? Should be email. So Joy should be thing string, and it should be email, and it should be required. And what else again? So email and password. So it should be string, and it should not be less than 8, and it should be required. You see that? So we could do the same for what? We do the same for login. So can you see that? So now so when you call your register body, so we could say something like const. So we need to do it outside the try. So we get the error and we get the value. So we can say something like register body validator dot validate. So what am I validating? I'm validating the body. Then inside here, so okay, we've done that. So I need to check if there is an error. So if there is an error, so I'll just say uh, status 400, which is a bad request. Then I'll pass in a message that says what? Bad request body. So can you see that? So what do I need to do next? I need to return. Yeah, you're right. So I need to return. So I validated the body. So we need to do what next? We need to hash the password. So how do I hash the password? I need to use there's something called bcrypt JS. So we need to use this bcrypt JS to hash the password. So so this is it. So we need to hash the password. So I will install bcrypt JS, npm install bcrypt JS. So it just kind of randomize, or it's kind of encrypt your password. It encrypt your plain text. So so it's installed now. So before we go on with encrypting your password, so you need to define how many times you want to encrypt that password, or how many times you want to shuffle it. So there's something called sort. So you could do, so you use sort to define how many times you want to uh, sh- shuffle that encrypted password. So you can now say something like bcrypt dot what? You could generate sort. So you generate sort. So now what else can I do? So I can do something like const hashed password. So can you see that? So you could say bcrypt. I think you can await bcrypt. Bcrypt dot. So you can hash. You can see that we have what? We have hash and we have hash sync. So this for synchronous hashing, this for asynchronous hashing. So we want to hash asynchronously, so we need to use await. So now if you use await now, we said it has no effect. So let's, meaning that we don't need it. So now what do I want to hash? I want to hash that password. So I want to hash that password and pass the sort. So which password am I hashing? Value dot, I want to hash value dot what? Password. Then I want to pass in the sort. The sort defines how many times I want to hash it. So I want to create my user. So I will say await user dot what? Create what? Create. So I'll spread the value. I'm spreading the value, but the password, I want to change the password to what? Hashed password. So I want to get the result after. So I want to get the result after. So when I'm done, I want to do res.json, res.status 201, then JSON user registered successfully. then the data should be what user. So let's test this endpoint out. So it is, so let's test it out. So let's define our auth. So I have my register user. So we are always going to make a post request. So I'll do something like slash auth slash what register. So I'll pass in my words. I want to pass in my email. And I want to pass in my what? My password. Remember, it should not be less than 8. So let's say it's less than 8. If I run this, it said not found. Why? Mm, auth slash auth and slash auth slash register. Okay, we are passing text instead of JSON. Slash auth slash register. It should work. What's the issue? Okay, slash. Okay, yeah. So can you see it? So we have an error, and the error is saying bad request because the password is less than 8. So let's make it longer than 8. So if I need to remember this password next time, so I can say nano codes programming. So if I run this, it said internal server error. So illegal arguments. Uh, value password. I think it's with this guy. Console.log. Let's see the value. So let's debug this. If I run it again, so if I run it again, it said illegal error. Now I have is displaying it. When I say illegal argument string object. Okay, I think what's happening is bcrypt.value.password. All right, uh, value.password. Okay, that's it. Oh, okay, internet is gone. Okay, we're back. So if I run this request again, you see crashing, and it's from this aspect. I synchronously generate a source. So we are back. Let's give it a try again. Please wait while my database is connecting. So I've not yet showed database connected. Should run now. Still, uh, there's an error with my database. Could not connect to the server. One reason is because you're not trying. Okay, I think my database was. So what's happening now is I could. Okay, now I think I'm good to go. So I should be able to connect now. So I want to basically allow access from every and from every IP address. So I need to add I need to allow access from every IP address. So 0 points. Just click this allow access from anywhere. So confirm. So I need to delete this one. Then we would allow access from everywhere. So still pending. So let it work. Okay, the database is connected now. The database is connected now. So let's make that call. We are still getting server error. We are not supposed to. Internal server error. Then I need it to what's happening. Let's know what's happening. So this is part of your debugging. So you mostly be debugging most times. So let's see the error. Okay, it's waiting for a promise. So there's a promise that has not yet resolved. So where's the promise coming from? User validation failed. So there's a promise. They said user validation failed for value promise pending. So there's a pending promise that we need to await. So where is it? So I think it's this. Yeah, it's the one. So it's a pending promise. So we need to. So let's try again. Hola. So it's working now. So your asynchronous code needs to be awaited. So now we are good to go. Can you see that it shuffled the password? It encrypted it and shuffled it. So basically, this is shuffled 10 times. So that it can be hard for hackers to decrypt. So that's for our user. So we have successfully created our user. If you come here and browse your collection, if you come here and browse your collection, go to your test. So you have your tags and you have your user. So now you see that your user is created already. So now that we have our user created and our user has an ID, So if we want to, what's it called, create a tax now. So for now, if we want to create a tax, we could just pass the what, the user ID along with that tax. So I could say something like so to create a tax, you could pass the user ID. So you could pass the user ID. So for the validation, for the validation body, so you can get this auth validator.js, then you get your user ID. I think for the tax validator, then you can get your user ID, then your joy, your string. So we want to get the user ID. We want to be we are expecting the user ID, so it should be required. So it should be required. Now, so when we want to create a tax, so when we want to create a tax now, so since I'm expecting what, the user ID, so I can say something like you spread the value. Then for your user, you could say for ID, now you want to pass in what, user ID. You want to pass in value dot what, user ID. So now you're assigning this ID into that user, because of what, since that user is referencing what, the user is referencing this user here. So now, and for each user it has its own ID. So inside our tax model, now we have this user, and we are saying that we are using that object ID. So what we are going to be passing into this user is what, this ID, and that ID will be referencing what, user. So that's basically what we are trying to achieve. So now if I want to create my user now, so I can go to this user, copy this and paste it here. So if I create, I could say something like uh, teaching at nano code. So can I see that? So let me say it's code, it will take me 15 minutes. If I run this, so you can see that it's created now, and that user is assigned. So this user is now connected to that tax, and that tax is connected to this user. So if I say something like teaching node JS at nano code, now if I have 12 and I create it again, then you can see that this user has two what, two tags. So now that's basically all for this course. So that's for authentication, and that's basically for authentication. So in the next class, I'm going to be going through how to generate token, and yeah, just basically that. So thank you.